Hi, welcome to the Chelsea Skidmore Show. I am doing a little solo episode. I first want to give a shout out to my very good friend, Allie Rose Kornblum. She sponsored this episode. Allie, I love you. She is an amazing artist. You can check out her art on her Instagram at Alexandra Rose. Her art is in Restoration Hardware. They print it, it's incredible. So definitely check that out. She's also really hot too. Um, anyways, yeah, my hair and makeup was done and I was supposed to have a guest on, but they moved it to tomorrow morning. So I just thought I might as well throw out a little solo episode. And I was thinking about, well, I have a notes section in my phone about like jokes or things I want to, talk about when stand up comes back, but or just like funny ideas and things. And I was laughing. I was just looking at it right now. And I was reminded that I tried to sell my panties to a stranger off Craigslist when I think I was 19 years old. I was Yeah, I needed money. I remember I was at my dad's apartment at the time. I think I was sleeping on his couch. I must have been like 18, 19, or 20 years old. And I could have been home from the summer from college. I don't really remember, but I remember it was on the Upper East Side. And I was messaging with someone off Craigslist. I think I was selling them for like $20. They weren't even that expensive, and someone said, "Meet me under the 59th Street Bridge," which is on the Upper East Side, um, and wait on a park bench and put them in a manila envelope. And I was waiting there and no one fucking showed up. And I'm assuming like either one, it was someone fucking with me. Two, someone showed up and just wanted to watch me wait there, but never wanted to buy it, which is just like so weird. But I guess it's kind of like the idea of like knowing maybe a girl was there selling her underwear. I don't know. But like, I don't know what's more depressing. Is it trying to sell your underwear on Craigslist or trying to sell it and have no one show up? Like, that's just like another level of patheticness. And it's not the first time I have done this. Later, when I was a stripper, this customer bought me a pair of underwear and asked me to wear it all night and give it to him at the end of the night. And I didn't even have the thought to fucking charge him for that. I think I was like, okay, like pretty ridiculous. Wow, times have changed since then. But I was kind of thinking about how I used to do, you know, crazy stuff for money. That's really the craziest. But I had a bunch of other jobs before I started working at the Comedy Store, which is my most recent employer. And they are shut down right now because of COVID. But well, actually, they're kind of open. But my position, they've only hired back like a super small staff right now, and I'm not included in that. So I wanted to talk about all of the bad jobs I had before that. I had been fired from every single job I had before the Comedy Store in all of my job history entirety. And I realized this video is not smart to put on the internet. Any potential employers might find this. And to them, I want to say, hey, look, man, it's a podcast. Can't we all just laugh at this? This is, you know, before this is like in my teens and early 20s when I wasn't the greatest employer. And now it's a different story in sobriety and my new life today. And I can be trusted with a job. So that is the disclaimer. But let's get into it. My first job I got when I was 16. Well, actually, before that, I was a babysitter. And I used to babysit my next door neighbors. And I also babysat another family, and both jobs I got fired from. The first one I got fired from because me and my friend, I had a friend over. The parents left, and my friend came over, and we drank a bottle of vodka. And when the parents came home, I was sleeping on the couch, and the parents had to wake me up. Never babysat for that family anymore. And the second time this is for my next door neighbors who I babysat for. I was smoking a joint outside my window in the morning at like 8 a.m. before school. And I was like leaning completely out the window. And the mom happened to look over and saw me. And I swear to God, I was smoking like the fattest joint. Like it probably was like a 3 gram joint, which I guess is an eighth. I haven't smoked weed in a while, so I forgot you know, I was just about to say dosages. Wow, I really haven't smoked in a while. I haven't smoked in like 7 years. When I relapsed, I told myself I wasn't going to smoke weed because weed is just too fucking good. And I knew how hard it would be to like get sober from smoking weed, even though the last time I smoked weed 7 years ago, I felt like I was going to have a panic attack and go to the hospital because it was my first time smoking weed from California when I was visiting before I moved here. But yeah, so I was smoking a huge joint and got caught and never got asked to babysit again. So those were my first 2 jobs I was fired from. Then I got a job at Stop and Shop, which is a supermarket right by me. And literally everyone who worked there had a mental disability. Every single person who worked there, like all the baggers pretty much all were mentally disabled. So I got a job there. I had worked there for a couple of weeks. I was a cashier, and I happened to do mushrooms. And I did mushrooms for the first time when I was 16. And my brother was having a party, and I came home from work, and they were all doing them, and I wanted to try them. So I took either an eighth or half an eighth by myself. I can't remember. And all of a sudden I was like laughing and having fun. It was like half hour into it. And then everyone left, and I was like, where is everyone going? And they all, went to like another person's house, and there was a blizzard. So like, I just wanted to stay inside, and I was like, okay, well, this is kind of fun, but nothing's really happening. So I think I'm going to go to sleep. So I went into my room, turned out the lights, and went mentally insane. I lost my fucking mind. I couldn't get off the bed. The floor was fucking moving around like in squiggles. I don't like mushrooms. Like I've never looked over to the wall breathing and been like, this is fun. They're just not fucking for me. And it really terrified me. And so I didn't sleep at all. And the next morning I went to a casting call for like a modeling job for that company Esprit, and which I don't know if it exists anymore. And I went there and I just looked like shit. And then I had to go to Stop and Shop later. And I was, when I was done with the casting, and I just like was so out of it and was like acting weird, and perhaps had some sort of residual thing going on from the mushrooms, and they fired me. And I thought it was crazy because it was like, I was kind of like one of the most able people there. And the fact that I got fired from there, I thought was pretty hilarious and ridiculous. So after that, I got a job at a yoga studio. There was a yoga studio in my hometown called Be Yoga, which was the first of all of the Yoga Works, which is a huge franchise now. But I worked there for a while. My position was called a desk angel, which I thought was really cute. And me and all my best friends worked there. It was a fun job. And, we got free classes and stuff. And it's one of the reasons why I don't really like yoga anymore. I find it to be really boring, but I think I just, namaste'd too much while I was there. But I was going off to college, and my best friend at the time, I don't know why I say at the time, but she just recently passed away. So I think that's why I said that. But my friend who worked there, Allegra, she threw a party, and after hours, like she had people over because we had the keys. And, I personally was like, I don't think this is a good idea. And she was like, whatever, it's fine. Like no one's going to catch us. So the lights were on in the studio and a bunch of people were inside drinking, and then the cops came because they saw the lights on after hours. And she got in trouble, and the manager was so pissed off the yoga studio that we're having a party there. Of course, you know, it's not fucking for that. But then again, all the people who worked there were like girls in high school. What do you expect? And and all girls who party, who like are the least healthiest people there working the front door of the yoga studio. But I basically took the fall for her because I was going, and she was the one who had the party. But I just said, you know what, I'm going to college, you keep the job, and I'll tell them it was me. So I get fired, and, you know, you can keep working there. So I'm basically a really good person, and that's my point of the story. So then I went off to college, and I tried to get a job as a nude model. And I did it because I thought I would piss off my boyfriend at the time, who was an artist himself. And he didn't end up caring. So I just got like really mad and felt really uncomfortable. And like, I only did it because I wanted to upset him and I wanted to cause a fight between us because I was in a toxic relationship and it seemed like a great idea at the time. So it really just ended up sucking for me. And I was like really, really uncomfortable. I was completely nude. And the sun was like shining through like way, way, way too bright. Like imagine like you were just hooking up with like a guy for the first time and you slept over there and it was like the morning and all the light was shining through and you're just like, ugh, like it was like prime time sunlight, just like shining on my body. And the teacher was so mad at me and kept yelling at me and she was like, move positions, because you have to like move positions. But I remember kind of just like scrunching up in a ball and just like so uncomfortable. So I never did that again. I didn't get fired, but I call that a bad job, and all I got was $20. After that, I was the DJ at my college radio show. My show was called I Bang Teachers for A's. It was a really fun show, but I ultimately got fired because I had a lot of dead air, which is why I don't like pausing on the podcast, because I don't want to get fired from my own podcast. But the reason I had so much dead air was because I was partying and doing cocaine the whole time in the studio by myself. I started at the 3 to 6 a.m. slot. So I would go there after partying and I'd be doing coke to keep up and stay up all night. And then I switched to the 12 to 3 slot. But I think I just, you know, wasn't really quite paying attention. But I had that job for a while and it was really fucking cool, honestly. I loved just like playing mostly soundtracks. And like cool like punk music and ska and stuff. It was really fun, honestly. I miss it a lot. Sorry, I'm taking a sip. I'm drinking this really good coconut Waterloo sparkling water. And I have lipstick all over it. It's pretty tacky looking. What happened from there? Okay, so then I got a job at a strip club. And oh, actually, first I worked at Nobu. I was a hostess at Nobu for 2 weeks in Hawaii. And actually, the uniforms they gave us were Theory, which is like a super nice brand, Theory dresses. And I only worked at Nobu because it was my favorite restaurant. And I thought that we were going to get a lot of free food. I had never worked in a restaurant, but I heard that when you work in a restaurant, they feed you the food, but it was actually just Hawaiian food that they gave us, which is fine. Hawaiian food's nice, but I assumed it was going to be expensive sushi and beautifully plated yellowtail sashimi with jalapeno, which it wasn't. So I worked there for about 2 weeks. And when you walk into the restaurant, you have to go, "Arashamase," which means welcome, and you have to yell it out. And I hated yelling it out because I just felt awkward. Like today I wouldn't give a fuck, but I was just like insecure when I was 20 and I just felt weird walking in and going, "Arashamase." And then like the sushi chefs yell it back. So you probably notice sometimes that happens when you go in a Japanese restaurant. A lot of times when you walk in, like the sushi chefs will go "arashimasu," and that means welcome. Fun little fact. So I would always, I just stand at like the front of the hostess stand, and I was always playing with my hair because I just felt stupid just like standing there, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And they were like, stop playing with your hair, stop playing with your hair. And like I had like a pencil skirt, and I was like, I'm fucking done. So I just quit, and then I got a job at a strip club. I first was working the door there, and I never thought I would be a dancer ever. I totally just worked the door for like 3 nights actually. And one night there, the security guard like gave me coke and stuff, and he was like crazy and had a motorcycle, and it was like a really fast world. And then I eventually was like, fuck it, I'll just be a stripper, because for some reason I just wanted to do that when I was a kid. When I was like 16, I remember like thinking I want to be a stripper, and like I don't know why I would think that. I think the reason actually is because my dad used to go to them a lot, and I would hear my parents fighting about it all the time, and through the walls of my bedroom. And I'm not saying that anyone told me to be a stripper, but I have to admit, through the walls of my bedroom, I could hear the man making some pretty good points. So that's why, I don't know. And there was a girl at my college who was really beautiful, and she had like a super nice car and really cool clothes. And I was like, what do you do? And she was like, I'm a stripper. So I was like, fuck, should I, like, do I get a car and cool clothes? I don't know. I was fucking 20. What do you want from me? So I did that for 3 years, and I never got fired from that. If you got fired from being a stripper, that'd be pretty fucking sad. I don't even think it's possible. Actually, I did get fired from one club. Actually, oh my God. I worked at a couple clubs, but I got softly fired from Hustler in New York because I told one customer that a girl had herpes. She didn't, but we just didn't like each other. And like this client wanted to go in a private room with her. And I was like, she has herpes. And he fucking told on me. So you can't trust any clients at a strip club, and you can't say that girls have herpes when they don't. So I learned that lesson. Another firing. I wish I knew how to edit this video and I could just make flags go off at every fire, like ding ding. Okay. So after the strip club, so then I moved back to New York City, and I was trying to get a regular job. I didn't want to work at a strip club anymore. So I worked at Crunch Gym, and I worked at the front desk, and I was just like really, actually this happened to be, I think the timeline is fuzzy. It might've been before I was a stripper, actually, like during the summer, when I was home in New York. But yeah, I was working the front desk, and I worked there to get like a free membership or something. And I was just like a really bad employee. I was very lazy. Like one of the jobs I would have to do is I would have to take like bundles of used towels and replace them with clean towels in the locker rooms. And I just like never felt like doing it. And they were just like really heavy, and I would have to drag these like huge laundry bags. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So I would just get other people to do it for me who worked there. Like I remember I would like befriend trainers and be like, can you like get the towels for me? And they would do it. And then too many times, like my manager would walk by while that was happening and catch me, and didn't look good. So I also would like be like, hey, can I take this strip pole dancing class? And I would take the pole dancing class during my shift. And I remember I would like look through the glass and see like the other employees watching me. And I was like, fuck it, I'm not working. So I got fired from there. Then this podcast makes me look so bad. Okay. Then I am looking at the notes on my phone because I'm trying to remember the jobs. Okay. So then I want to focus on writing. And I first got a job working at a, like a tabloid magazine called Topics Media Lab. I don't even think it exists anymore. I haven't Googled it, but it was basically a tabloid magazine that made like different issues specifically for certain people. So, for example, I wrote a bunch of articles for an issue that was a One Direction issue. So it was like a specialized magazine that you would find at a magazine stand. And yeah, I just remember doing the One Direction one. So I had to like write all these articles about One Direction. I had to decode the lyrics. I never got fired from there, but the boss at the time I thought was like really creepy. So I just didn't want to work there anymore. And I think they might have actually just been intern. I think I might have been an unpaid intern. So I worked there for a while and then I was like, this place sucks. I want to work somewhere cooler. So I had always been a big fan of Vice magazine, especially the do's and don'ts, which were the pictures that Gavin McInnes would make fun of the people. So this is before Gavin was like an alt-right Proud Boy crazy person. He was just like a normal, cool asshole in the magazine world. And I emailed him and he said I can come in. And at the time he was also working at Rooster. So he had a website called Street Boners and TV Carnage. And then he had, which was his website, which was after he sold Vice magazine, he started his own website, which was SBTVC, Street Boners and TV Carnage. And then he also worked at a production company called Rooster, where he was the creative director. And I went to this office space that was a shared office. It was like one room, basically, with the Rooster guys and the SBTVC, which was Gavin. And I got there and Gavin said, okay, I told him I want to take the do's and don'ts pictures and that he was continuing on his website. And I also wanted to write for the website. So he gave me a camera and he said, okay, here's your test. Go walk around New York City for an hour, come back. If you get good fashion pictures of people on the street, you know, wearing cool street style stuff or really crazy bad outfits, then I'll give you the job. So he gave me his camera and I went out and I got really great photos. I was actually really, really, really good at that job, in my opinion. No, not in my opinion. I was fucking good at it. Why am I even saying in my opinion? I'm owning it. I was good at it. And I came back and I had amazing photos. And so he hired me. And I was a really, really, really hard worker. I really wanted to work at his company. I was doing a great job. I was writing some like crazy articles. And Rooster, the two guys who were running that, noticed that, you know, my work ethic. And they were like, hey, why don't you come work for us? Be our production coordinator. So they offered me a job. And that weekend, I had only been working there for 1 week, and they were planning a big trip to Switzerland, to Zurich, to film something called like One World, some kind of conference. And they offered for me to come there and like be their PA and associate producer on that shoot, which was super exciting. I literally had only been there for a week, and I remember all these people being pissed that I was offered to go, but I was working my fucking ass off. So I went and I did really well there. And then, you know, they gave me a contract when I got back and they were paying me like good money, you know, it was like out of nowhere. I didn't expect to have this job. And I worked there for like a year. But again, like this job was right after I stopped stripping. And, you know, I was 23 years old and I just, you know, looking back, I just like wasn't my best self. Like I remember I kind of like wore some questionable outfits to work. I also was having sex with the editor in the other room, which was, you know, they all fucking knew about it. I had a job of going through the receipts of the managers, and one of the managers who had a girlfriend, I don't know why I'm whispering like they're in the other room. I just would feel bad if they ever heard this, but I'm not naming names. One of the, you know, one of my managers had receipts for Magnum condoms, Magnum XXL condoms, and a pocket pussy. And he had a girlfriend. And I told Gavin that I found those receipts because I couldn't fucking believe it. And then right in front of me, Gavin told this manager, who I'm not going to name, oh, Chelsea found a pocket pussy and condom receipts. Like, you cheating on your girlfriend? And I couldn't believe he fucking did that. And then on top of all of that, guilt.com, the website that had sales like every day at noon, I would like religiously go on that website and I'd be like, and I'd be like, hey guys, at 12 p.m. noon, I have to go on guilt.com and shop. And for some reason in my fucking head, I thought that was okay, when that's not okay at all and completely inappropriate. And I understand that today. But for some reason, I would go on there and be like, I have to do my shopping. And I would just, during the workday, take a break and start scrolling on that website in front of everyone. And I'm sure those three things attributed to why I was let go. But basically, they told me that they made up some excuse, like, you know, they couldn't afford to pay me anymore because they're a startup and they haven't been booking me jobs or something. And who knows what the truth is, but I honestly think I was fired. I don't think I think they could have still paid me, but they didn't. But I really enjoyed working there and it was really fun. And I got to be a PA on a bunch of shoots and, you know, take care of like pre-production and post-production stuff and run castings. And I had a lot of fun doing that. I just wish I was in a better place in my life where I could have approached the job in a different way. But, you know, it is what it is. So after that, I wanted to try real estate. I was just doing anything I could to try to make money. And I worked at a nice boutique company in Soho. I'm not going to name the name because of what I'm going to say. But basically, I worked there for a couple of months and I just was not good at it. I didn't like real estate because for me, it just wasn't a creative job. I really want to be doing something, you know, with writing or acting or comedy. And that was like what was in my heart. But, you know, I felt like I needed a job and I felt like I needed to make money. And I didn't realize that I could, you know, pursue those creative dreams of mine and, you know, make that into a job. That wasn't possible for me at the time because I was full of fear and it was a big leap into the unknown. So I just kind of followed along with what I thought I should try. And I thought I was a good salesperson. You know, I was a good stripper, so I was probably a good salesperson. Why not just sell houses instead of dances, you know? And so I worked at this place for a couple of months and I just like didn't fit in with the people. Like everyone was super nice, but they were all like jocks and kind of like frat people. And I just felt like we weren't the same kind of person. Like I wouldn't have been friends with them in high school. And it was also really difficult for me because, you know, the firm I worked at did rentals and sales. And, you know, I would just be doing rentals, but everything like you had to do on your own. I didn't work under anyone. I didn't get help from anyone. No one, you know, no one was like, hey, like help, like be a part of this listing with me, or like, let me like show you the ropes or take you under my wing, which like I saw other people at the firm were linked up with other people. And, you know, I just didn't have that. So it was very frustrating because I would just be walking around New York City showing people all these appointments, and then sometimes they don't even end up taking them. So it kind of just like felt like a waste of time and a waste of energy. And it was a lot of effort for nothing. You know, I wasn't making any money. It's so funny. I remember one time I had shown a client an apartment that he liked, and it felt like it was going really well. And then I was like, oh, did you see it was like, it was almost like it was a done deal. And then I was like, oh, did you see the Oscars last night? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, Anne Hathaway, her nipples through that dress. Ugh. And then he just gave me a look and never spoke to me again. And I'm like, oh great. Like I totally fucked it up for saying that. Like I was speaking too candidly, you know? I guess you shouldn't say that to someone in a professional setting. Again, I was like 24 or something, so I didn't really get how to properly behave in a professional business, to be honest. And you know, so ultimately I didn't get fired from this company, but what happened really bothered me. I was working there, and one of the managers sent me a text message over the weekend, and he said, "Hey Chelsea, what are you doing this weekend?" And I thought it was weird and casual that he texted me, and that he just said that like out of nowhere. It just had like weird energy underneath it, and I didn't know what to say, so I was like, haha, probably baking, because I was baking a lot of cookies at the time. And then he goes, "Oh, what are you gonna wear while you bake?" Which was so fucking inappropriate. And then I just never went back into the office again. And I just left all the shit at my desk, and I just didn't want to go in and face him. This guy just had a baby. We never flirted. He just said that out of nowhere and like singled me out. And it made me so uncomfortable that I was just like, I'm done. I'm just like not going back in there. And that was the end of my real estate career, pretty much. Um, and then I moved out to LA and I started working the comedy store. And, and I haven't been fired from there. It's pretty hard to get fired from there. But I've also just like grown as a person. I mean, I think a lot of the inappropriate behaviors I had to do with just like being immature and, um, you know, just like, I don't know, just like not looking at work in a certain way. I mean, I grew up in I grew up in like an upper middle class family, and I had money for most of my life, and was supported by my parents until I started working as a stripper. And then I just, told my dad I didn't need a credit card anymore. So I think like a lot of, my earlier work situations, what came from a sense of entitlement and just feeling like I didn't need the job. I was going to be okay either way. And then in 2008, when I started working as a stripper, I, wanted to start paying for everything for myself. The company my dad had worked for filed for Chapter 11, and I just felt like things were taking a turn for my family financially, and I wanted to be independent, and I never wanted to ask for money ever again from them. And I think that's also one of the reasons why I worked at a strip club, because I think I was afraid of just not living the life that I had lived before that. And I don't think I've shared that on a podcast before, and a lot of people don't really know that specific reason, to be honest, because I think it has a lot underneath it. It's funny to just be like, haha, I was a stripper because I wanted to, but I think I was really just scared financially. Money got really tight with my family, and I just didn't want to depend on anyone, and I wanted to take care of myself, and I wanted to, it was also time to. I mean, I was 20 years old. I'm not gonna like, I'm a hustler. I'm an independent person. Like I wanted to earn my own money and start my adult life. I also forgot to mention I had another internship at a fashion PR company, and I didn't get fired from there. I actually had a lot of fun working there, and they were filming a reality show while I worked there too. It was called The Fashionista Diaries was the reality show, but the company was called Showroom 7 or Seventh House PR, and it was super fun. I met one of my best friends, Kevin, there. And, I worked in the closet, and which meant, we did polls for like editors and shoots and stylists and stuff. And I had to package everything up in garment bags. And it was fun too, because in the showroom, when people would come in, they would use me as the model, and I got to like try on all these fun clothes and stuff. So that was really fun. I had originally, my dad works in fashion, and I originally thought I might have been a buyer before I did anything else. When I was in college in Hawaii, I tried to transfer to FIT, but I didn't get in because I had really bad grades because I didn't care about school and I was partying. But I totally could have had like a different trajectory. I think about that. I think about like, I feel bad saying this, but like, what if like, what if my parents weren't fighting all the time when I was younger? What if I never got molested? What if I wasn't teased in school growing up? What if I felt like my parents were emotionally there for me? Would I not have been a stripper? What if my dad never went to strip clubs and my parents didn't fight about it? And I had like a nice, normal family, whatever the fuck that is. Like, maybe I wouldn't have been a stripper. Maybe I would have worked in fashion and or PR and stayed in New York and have been a completely different person. And what if I didn't get into drugs and alcohol and cocaine? Like, who would I have been today? But ultimately, I have a lot of shame about my past that I'm working through in therapy right now, and as well in my 12-step programs when I do step work. And I just think that, everything happens for a reason. That's like a big motto that I live my life by. And, I was dealt a different deck of cards, and I don't think it matters where I've been. Yes, I have done crazy things in my life, and it's not who I am today. Today I am a very hardworking professional. I don't procrastinate like I used to. I show up on time for things, and I'm not asking people to do my job for me or dressing inappropriately or saying weird fucking things. I'm a normal person. And I think, it just took some time of growing up and maybe some maturity. I don't know, but it's pretty, pretty crazy when I think about how I behaved at some of those jobs in the past, but it just, it just is what it is. It is what it is. I'm seeing if I have any other ideas of things I want to talk about. Um, Let me see. Oh, I have a note about this is like completely different from jobs, but I love watching horror movies with my husband, but can he please not leave the room before it gets terrifying? Like, we'll be sitting on the couch, cozy in a blanket on the same cushion, not even fighting about it, just happy, so close, so secure, so safe. And then he'll be like, "Hey babe, do you want popcorn?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he'll get up and leave, and then the room will suddenly just get super dark, and I'm all alone on a cushion, so scared, so alone, so cold. And then someone in the movie that I'm watching, someone in the horror movie, will decide it's a good time to get something out of the basement. And then I'll be like, "Babe," but he won't respond. He's getting the popcorn. He's such a good husband, but the music will get louder. The temperature will drop 10 degrees and a ghost will come into the room, and I'll just be alone. And I'll pull a blanket up because monsters can't get you if you're under a blanket. And I'll be like, "Steven, they're going in the basement. Where are you?" And you'll be like, "Hey, you want ice in your soda?" And he'll just be like stirring the drink when I'm about to die. And it's like, who cares about ice? I'm about to die. But also, thank you. Yes, I love ice. Cube, not crushed. So back to the movie. She's walking down the stairs, the person in the movie, and she's in a basement. She has the flashlight, and it's all dusty and dark. And of course, her flashlight goes out. Why does the flashlight always go out in a scary movie once you hit the bottom of the stairs? It's like, and then the light of the fire. I mean, the light of like the fucking burner thing, whatever that thing is called in Home Alone that he's afraid of. What is that thing called? A heater? That's like the only light. But anyway, so the girl, so she's down there in the basement with her flashlight, and then she's like slapping it against her hand, like trying to get it to work. Maybe it's the batteries, she just put batteries in there. Why is it not working? And then she'll get the flashlight to work, and then she'll like tilt it up and see a little girl suddenly in the corner who's just like, la, 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 la. That's why I don't like watching horror movies with my fucking husband, okay? That is scary. Wow, this is so funny. I'm looking at my notes. One of them was, "I'm jealous of the work my friends do in therapy." Well, guess what? Now that's me. That was in February, and now I am killing it. Well, I guess I can end it there. I'm just searching for more things to talk about, but I'll find it for another episode. I think that's good. So that was it. Yeah, we talked jobs, we talked horror movies, and it's It's good to be here. I'm laughing because I just found a note in my phone that says, the other night my husband and I were having sex and he stopped to use the bathroom. Okay, there's nothing grosser than an adult male who says, I have to pee pee or tinkle, especially if it's on you. It's a joke I had. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review the Chelsea Skidmore Show, and have a great week. I will see you soon. Bye.